Cayman, I think for the sake of time,
Mm.
we cut one of the remaining stories. So would you rather talk about Resident Evil 4 being $60 on the Apple iPhone? Or would you rather talk about one of your favorite games, The Division, coming back? I think I know which one you'd rather.
Okay, we can do both because I'll make mine really fast.
Okay,
because I know what you're going to ask me already. First, yes, this was the weirdest announcement that you could ever have for a game. It was just a fucking press release.
Yeah.
It was like, we're building a team out to make a Division 3, which I honestly didn't think was going to happen, all things considered, because the team working on this is about to release that stupid Avatar game, which I was like, this is all hopes lost. And they're also working on a Star Wars game that they might still be working on, but that's kind of been cold. They're building a team. It's going to be years before this game comes out. I'd be shocked if this game actually drops on this generation of consoles.
I would think beginning of next gen. I agree.
Yeah. So for me, I know the question is what do I want to see from Division 3?
What do you want to see? Where do you want it? Are my two questions.
So they've done DC and they've done New York, and I thought both were really cool. And they did DC summer, they did New York winter. I want to see fall.
Yeah.
And I would love to see it in like Oregon or in some shit like that. Like, I think that'd be super cool to see that. I think in oh God, what happened now?
Cognitive, because in the chat, where I want it is none of your business. That's good. Very good.
Fair. That's fair. So I think in terms of like what I want, I think like Oregon would be really cool. Fuck, if they set it in Atlanta, that would
I was about to say, bring it home, baby. Let's do it in ATL.
There's no games in Atlanta. Put it in Atlanta. Put it in Tiger Georgia in the middle of fucking nowhere. That's actually set in Savannah. So for me though, I think
they're making their way up to Atlanta at one point, don't they?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Keep going.
Honestly, it'll probably be like LA or San Fran or some shit like that, which is cool. Yeah. I think it's cool. But I want to see like fall. I want a different season, or if they can do multiple seasons, that'd be pretty cool. But honestly, I love Division. I really don't think I would change much about how Division works. I think their inclusion of raids and things like that in Division 2 is a really smart move. And I think the Dark Zone being maybe less optional, and or not less optional, but like more stakes if you go into the Dark Zone would be cool. Sure. But no, I love Division. I think Division is fucking amazing. Division 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's just a really fun game to just because you can play it solo, you can play it with people. It doesn't matter. It's always great. I just want more of it. So if I had one thing, I would just say cancel the Avatar game. You don't need to release it. I don't know what you're
the game
doing.
That comes out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, cancel.
Longer than that.
Cancel that game and let's drop Division 3 today. We need that game sooner because we need that. But yeah, no, I'm super excited about this and looking forward to that release. Now, Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
Being $60 on the iPhone. I think is a very interesting conversation, Patrick.
Yeah.
Because one thing I've been seeing people say is, would Resident Evil 4, if it was on the Switch, would you pay $60 for that?
Sure.
But the iPhone is more powerful somehow than the Switch. So I guess the question is like, one, it's a question of parity. So I think right now we're going to see most games that they're going to launch for the like that they're putting on the iPhone, they're probably going to be $60.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to change once they start to see what people are willing to spend.
Right. The market will make it course correct for sure. If the market is not willing to spend $60 for a full, quote unquote, full console experience on their phone.
I saw someone though, they somehow rigged their phone to play the game on their TV.
Yeah, it was like a USB-C to HDMI cord.
Yeah, and it was like the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, well, now you have people who aren't gamers. They don't need to go spend hundreds of dollars on $100 on a console. If you can just get your games on the iPhone and stream them,
yeah,
then part of me is like, that's actually a really nice thing and kind of makes me think the $60 is a better price point because people aren't going to be like, a lot of people aren't going to be spending that money on a console, but they'll spend $1,500 on an iPhone.
Right.
Because I would say 99.9% of the people who have any phone, they didn't just buy it outright. You know, they're paying on it. And so it's like less of an investment. So part of me thinks that maybe, but then again, the other question is like, how many people are going to be like, no, I don't want this on my iPhone. I want this on my Xbox. I want this on my PlayStation. I want this on my PC. So I think I don't know. I think I kind of stick to my guns on this and say, I think that this very much is going to be one, how comfortable is it to play if you're not syncing it through your TV?
Yep.
And two, I think it's going to be a market thing. Are things like Resident Evil 4, like let's say they remake Resident Evil 5 and they're like, hey, it's coming to consoles tomorrow. In 9 months, it's going to be on your iPhone. And so then that can adjust how much price. They're like, look, you're not going to pay $60 for it on your iPhone today, but in 6-9 months, after the game's being reduced in price, you will pay $30 or $40 to play it. So I do think it's a market thing. But I think that's interesting. I think this definitely opens up games for a much wider audience.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. My thing is I don't want to necessarily say that 60 is a bad price point until I actually get my hands on playing Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil Village or Assassin's Creed Mirage on my iPhone. The one thing that I do think is very cool about it, and I hope that this evolves one step further, is that if you buy it on your iPhone, it's going to work on your iPad if you have one. It's going to work on your Mac if you have one. So it's like cross buy in that way. Like whatever the Apple ecosystem is, you bought the license for that. What I would like to see, if I bought Resident Evil 4 on my PlayStation, can I either get it on my phone or can I get it on my phone at a discount? That I would love to see, because then I would be more willing to spend, $20, $30, even $40 on a game that I really want to be able to play on my phone as well and on my iPad. But $60, especially for a game that like right now is on sale, feels like a bit of a weird move. Especially like it's also a culture thing in that we, for the last 12 years, have been taught through the market, you don't really pay more than like $3 for a game on this thing, or it's free and you do the microtransactions. I put way more than $3 into Marvel Snap at this point, but like, so that's the other thing. Like, I'm really interested to see kind of where this drops, because there's so much variation in the mobile market that maybe there is a place for this kind of luxury title, but it's going to be hard to say at first because it's only on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Like, it's only that specific model that it works on. So I don't know what we're really going to see. But yeah, so then John in the chat, Resident Evil is a game that could be worth $60, but after prices shift higher, devs are going to start charging $40 for Bejeweled. Maybe, but if the market doesn't allow it, then if people don't pay $40 for Bejeweled, then I don't need to necessarily explain marketing or economy 101, but I do I don't know, it's kind of a hard thing to pinpoint kind of where it'll land. But I think it's an exciting time, like, to be able to play Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Village, which is launching at $39.99 Village, or Mirage, which we don't have the price for yet, but I would assume it's going to be $60 on the iPhone. So we'll see.
It's definitely interesting. These are weird times.
Yeah.
I almost kind of feel like do you remember the N-Gage?
I do.
I kind of feel like we're having like an N-Gage renaissance right now, where it's like, you can play video games on your smartphone.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking Snake. But like, I think the biggest thing for me here is like, from what we've seen spec wise from the iPhone, I'm really curious of what the specs for the Nintendo Switch 2 or the Super Nintendo Switch or the whatever the fuck
is it going to be better than the iPhone?
Yeah, because I think that also will definitely impact, where it's like all of these AAA games are like, we will be on your iPhone, but it won't run on the next Switch.
Well, I would be willing to bet it's not going to be better than the iPhone, the Switch 2, because last week when we were talking about the leaks, they were saying that it's going to be Xbox One, PS4 strength, and Resident Evil 4 Remake doesn't work on those, if I'm not mistaken. So
and they're like, we're talking about ray tracing on the iPhone. And I'm like, that was never a conversation I ever thought was going to happen. But Yeah, I think the bigger question is, do we think that the fact that you can now release games on the iPhone, is that going to impact sales for the Switch?
I don't know. I guess
I
we'll
don't
find
know.
out.
I mean, it's a lot cheaper to get a Switch than it is to get an iPhone.
That's true. That's true. We'll wait and see. We're gonna wait and see. I do want to end the show with a little update to the game release counter. We actually have a pretty meaty update here.
Hell yeah.
Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, which is a game we've like briefly talked about on the show before, as it's been in a couple like state of plays and things like that, pushed to February of next year. And they were very candid. They were like, we don't want to release it in such a saturated time as November of this year, which I think is really smart.
Yeah, no, 100%. Who else?
So they pushed
did
it back
that?
3 months.
Someone else did that too.
Well, Alan Wake 2 pushed back a week, but there was another one. But I can't think of it off the top of my head. And they were like, yeah, no, we don't want to release right now because of this. Also, we found out, I think today, the Talos Principle 2 is coming on November 2nd. I don't know if that's a game we already knew was coming or if that was like a total reveal.
I think we knew it was coming. I don't think we had a release date.
Okay. The Callisto Protocol and Farming Simulator 2 are reportedly set to headline October's PS Plus editions. Fuck. That was leaked today. So there would be one more that wasn't leaked, but that's all that the leak had. As I briefly just mentioned, Resident Evil Village coming to iPhone 15 Pro on October 30th, and that's going to be $39.99. But if you want the Ethan Winters expansion, which lets you play in third person and some other stuff, I think there's like another story bit. That's another $20. Sea of Thieves. This is actually very exciting for me. Finally getting a solo mode.
Yeah.
As part of season 10 in December. So you can create your own private server and play the entire game solo or with just your friends if you want. So your boy Patty might finally be playing Sea of Thieves. I mentioned the Division 3 here, but we ended up doing a whole story there. Came in one of your most anticipated games, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, got a release date January 26th.
Which, you know what, man, in this market, dude, in January especially, like it should be at least died down enough.
Yeah.
I am going to devour that game.
Yeah. Also, potentially was going to be a story today, but ended up not being. Cameron Monaghan confirmed at a panel at a con the other day. Star Wars Jedi 3 happening. You know, we knew, but this is the first official word that it's happening. And also their studio lead just left. So interested to see what kind of changes that.
Patrick, did you hear that Criterion is back with like their Criterion is coming back with like a way bigger role in EA now. Like I think EA might have finally bought Criterion or something.
At first, I thought you meant like Criterion of the collection.
Oh no, not the movie Criterion. The team behind I think the last Need for Speed game and the team behind the Burnout games is apparently coming. They've apparently worked on Battlefield for some reason, and I think EA finally bought them. I think was the news.
Gotcha.
But guess what was part of that news? No Burnout because apparently they fucking hate us.
Yeah. Release Burnout.
So just take that off the game release calendar. There'll never be another Burnout game.
Damn. Rest in peace. RIP in peace.
Sucks, bro.
Yeah, it's not good. Terry in the chat. Dave the Diver releases on Switch like a week or something after Spider-Man 2. Played the demo and I cannot wait. That game fucking rips.
Hell yeah. Sydney's so excited about that.
You're going to love it. Well, folks, that's our show. As I said at the top, do not forget only a couple more days as of release of the episode to get in your top 15 for the top 100 games list, which is going to be starting next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you follow us on twitch.tv/Spotlight GamesPod so that you know when we go live next week to start revealing the lists. Also, check us out on Twitter at SpotGamesPod or Instagram at Spotlight GamesPod. And, you know, all the other places too. Just search for us. Kanan, where can they follow you online?
Yeah, you can follow me at the Dumpster Boy on Twitter. Once again, if you tuned in last week, Save Trash Cinema is coming back for October, baby. We got some really cool news. I think we might have even picked out the first movie we're going to launch with. The entire month of October, we will be covering early 90s trash cinema.
Ooh.
So it's going to be a really weird, fun time, and I'll have more info about that. But yeah, it's coming back, baby. And I think it's going to launch. First episode is going to be the first Friday of October, the 7th, I believe. is when we're gonna do that. So
let's fucking go.
You can follow that at Save Trash Cinema on all socials. And if you've never listened to an episode, I highly recommend. Probably don't.
You got a backlog of episodes to catch up on, brother.
Yeah, and there's some raunchy ones in there.
Raunchy. You can follow me at Patrick Schwag. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Always appreciate your viewership and listenership. And until we meet again, play some video games and tell someone in your life you love them. It can be anybody. Just go tell them you love them because I love you.
I need positive affirmation. You can tell me.
Go tell Cayman if you're not going to tell anybody else. Bye-bye.